paka paka waka chiki 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 waka paka waka 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 chiki 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 waka paka.
How's you doing? The previously on Notables, we got Will and Shannon's relationship, Chilltown trying to sort of recruit Nicole, Monica and Hardy flying under the radar, which he won't be doing for long, and Kent and Bunky overcoming their differences. So we get to Monica and Krista talking. Krista said that Nicole had told Autumn she was voting for Kent because she had to. That meant keeping Kent. Krista said that if it was her friend, she would have voted to keep her friend. And we get a flashback, Nicole's diary room, where she's crying about how she voted for Autumn because the community had told her that she has to for the good of the game. In Hardy's mind, he had stuck up for Autumn, the person he assumes could have led her to saying what she did about him is Nicole, because they had spent hours the previous night talking. Boogie thought that Nicole might throw a vote Autumn's way, and he thinks that Nicole's distressed by all this because it was a missed opportunity for her to have someone she could count on in Autumn. Autumn's vote to count on come final two. We find it a little interesting how everyone's motives are always questioned. They always believed to be ulterior to how they're describing them in the moment. There is something to keep an eye on, being that the jury isn't sequestered. They aren't sequestered in season 3 either, but from there they are. So I'm not sure how much they exactly see. My guess is they can view as much as they want, so they could see virtually everything. Bunky asks Hardy who he's questionable about, in which he responds with Nicole, and Bunky agrees. Kent is shown venting about Nicole with Hardy as they shoot some hoops. So here Nicole's losing trust from the rest of the group. That can happen definitely when you're spending some time with the enemy. Shannon thinks Chilltown's losing a member. That'll be you. Hardy says that Boogie thought he was dead meat for Shannon and doesn't understand why people view him as less educated, less knowledgeable. He thinks it might have just been wishful thinking. Boogie thinks that every week Shannon and Will are here, that would be a week Hardy's safe. He thinks it would have been smart to not nominate them, as they can just go at any time. And there's something in, I think it's the 48 Laws of Power about decimating your opponent, so don't leave any stranglers behind. You see it in Survivor a bit, and you will see it here as well, where the majority will end up eating themselves, and it allows someone from the minority to come in and take the win. We'll be able to use the I'm not a threat angle to achieve said victory. Hardy says that his strategy is to get rid of one of them, that it depends on how annoying they are. He mentions cockiness and arrogance look bad, and that he tries to fight against it. It seems as though that's going to eventually catch up with him though. Will has a diary room with Shannon where he says that he hasn't listened to one word these people have said. So far, Will hasn't really been that good, I would say. Hardy doesn't see Mike as a bad guy, but finds the path he's going down unacceptable. He also thinks Will's the leader and plans to make him accountable for his actions. Shannon says she'd miss Will if he was nominated. Shannon is also shown talking about her boyfriend from home and talking about things that perhaps show why she would leave him for Will. She hopes that Will isn't using her as there's no using on her part. And Will has a diary room saying that she's won him over. Bunky doesn't want the women to be on PB&J for 2 weeks in a row. Hardy doesn't like the idea of someone throwing comps. Bunky DR about Hardy exploding at him. They have a conversation in the HOH. Bunky felt like he got attacked for being compassionate, while Hardy has a diary room saying that this could all be a strategy for Bunky. He's said other things, so it could be a whole big juicy cover your ass type of thing. We get a food comp, one for all for one. They each have 3 suggestions to write on a tennis ball. Balls will get thrown over the fence, and what they catch they get to eat. All I'll say is, for this, Boogie I think caught more than anyone else, and Bunky was very happy when he finally caught one. We get to see that Bunky and Kent are roomies and besties. Apparently Kent's been secluded from everyone else at night due to his snoring. Boogie's surprised by their relationship as he thought Kent would be quite homophobic, and Krista finds their relationship cute. We get an Untouchables mentioned, Hardy, Krista, and Monica. Hardy says to Krista that Nicole's the only person who could have said to Autumn he was rallying votes. He also wants to talk to Mike. Wants a promise that if he doesn't nominate Boogie, Mike won't nominate him if he were to win HOH. He says to Krista he wants Untouchables final 3. This deal is something that he will offer Will in the future, at which point Will will say yes, even though he doesn't mean it. Hardy doesn't like Shannon. He's uncomfortable around her. Bunky doesn't think she has social skills, that she never had to develop them. Shannon says that she doesn't like smoking and playing cards, but she tries a smoke. Nicole has a diary room saying that she doesn't know if she was just trying to seem like she was one of the group, but that all she did was annoy them. Next morning, Shannon has a diary room saying she had an epiphany that she's a bitch, she's hated, a moron, self-centered, egotistical psycho, and that it's hard to find that out on national television. She says that she can't help being different and is very upset about the situation. Cole DR about everyone has a reason to worry. If Hardy thinks she's the one who's talked to Autumn, he could put her up. So the Hardy-Nicole duo isn't really a thing yet. Hardy gives Boogie the offer that he talked about with Krista. Boogie has 30 minutes to decide. He relays this to Shannon and Will. He mentions them or Krista winning the HOH, so Krista's definitely got her hand in multiple jars. Kent says to Bunky that people are acting like Hardy's smitten with Krista and that it could turn into a sex thing. I really enjoy Kent sometimes. I really do. Boogie says to Hardy to think about putting him up against Bunky. Hardy says that he's only asking Mike. Boogie says that Will and Shannon can go at any time as they're unlikable, so he's using the talking point that Will go on to use. And I'll say that if I didn't know how this eventually ends up, and you said that a Chilltown member eventually wins this, I would be so sure it was Boogie and not Will. Hardy nominates Will and Shannon. He says that it's nothing personal, which seems to just be something people seem to say. He says that he nominated them because he hasn't felt their personalities clicked, which sounds quite personal. And Shannon calls it cowardly in front of everybody. Hardy DR saying that when he started, he thought he would do anything to win. but seeing other people doing that made his stomach churn. Will Diary Room saying that when you put two people up who care about each other, the one that remains is going to try and stab you twice as hard. So we're seeing Shannon falling apart. I enjoy the Bunky-Kent relationship. Seems so far that Monica's probably safest out of everybody. I'm not sure how she would go. Maybe if she was up against Bunky, maybe, but I'm not sure. So that's it for episode 8. Bye-bye.